You know what's killing you? It's not your enemies. It's not the people who openly hate you. It's your politeness, your newness, your desperate need to be liked by people who don't even respect you. Right now, someone is using your good manners against you. They're counting on you to smile when they disrespect you. They're banking on you staying quiet when they cross your boundaries, and you do it every single time. But here's what nobody tells you. Politeness without boundaries is just weakness wearing a mask. Machiavelli understood something that most people spend their entire lives refusing to accept. He knew that the world doesn't reward the nice guy. It rewards the guy who knows when to stop being nice, the guy who can flip the switch and become ruthless when the situation demands it. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about being mean for no reason. I'm not talking about being cruel or heartless. I'm talking about strategic ruthlessness, the kind that protects your time, your energy, your peace, and your damn dignity. There are moments in life where being polite is actually self-destruction, where your kindness becomes the weapon someone else uses to stab you in the back. And if you can't recognize these moments, you'll spend your whole life getting played by people who spotted your weakness the second they met they. Think about it. How many times have you let someone disrespect you because you didn't want to make a scene? How many times have you said yes when every fiber of your being was screaming no? How many times have you apologized for setting a boundary that ends today? Because I'm about to show you the 9 specific situations where being polite is the worst thing you can do. These are the moments where you need to be ruthless, not cruel, not evil, just ruthless, direct, uncompromising, unmovable. This isn't about becoming a bad person. This is about becoming a person who bad people can't manipulate. This is about taking back your power from everyone who's been using your kindness as a doormat. So, if you're tired of being the nice guy who finishes last, if you're done being the person everyone takes advantage of, if you're ready to learn when to drop the smile and show your teeth, then pay attention to every word in this video. Because by the end, you're either going to start respecting yourself, or you're going to keep letting other people teach you that you don't deserve respect. The choice is yours. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my peace ruthlessly. Now, let's get into it. Number 1, when someone slightly disrespects you. Here's where most people lose the game before it even starts. Someone makes a small comment, a little jab, a tiny disrespect, and you let it slide because it seems small, because you don't want to overreact, because you want to be the bigger person. That's exactly what they're counting on. Machiavelli once said, "Men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries. Of more serious ones, they cannot. Therefore, the injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge." Let me be clear, small disrespects are tests. They're checking if you'll defend yourself. And when you don't, you've just given them permission to go further. You've shown them your weakness. You've taught them that you're someone who can be pushed around. The first slight is never the last one. It's the beginning of a pattern. Today, it's a dismissive comment. Next week, it's talking over you. Next month, it's taking credit for your work. It escalates because you didn't stop it when it was small. So, what do? You address it immediately. Not aggressively, not emotionally, but directly and firmly. You look them in the eye and you make it clear that what just happened isn't acceptable. You don't laugh it off, you don't minimize it, you don't pretend it didn't bother you. Because here's the truth. People repeat behavior that goes unchecked. If disrespecting you has no consequences, why would they stop? And I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm being too sensitive? What if it wasn't that serious? Listen to me carefully. If it bothered you, it was serious enough. Your feelings don't need to be justified to anyone. Your boundaries don't need approval. The moment you start questioning whether you deserve respect is the moment you've already lost it. Ruthless people don't debate whether they should defend themselves. They just do it instantly, without hesitation, without apology. You want people to treat you with respect. Show them what happens when they don't. Not with anger, not with drama, but with immediate, calm, unshakable consequences. Pull back, create distance. Let them feel the absence of your energy, because the person who disrespects you slightly today will disrespect you greatly tomorrow if you don't teach them otherwise. Number 2, when someone talks over you repeatedly. You're in a meeting, you're in a conversation, you start talking and someone cuts you off. Once you let it go, twice you start to notice. 3 times. Now it's a power play. And if you keep letting it happen, you've just accepted your position at the bottom of the hierarchy. Talking over someone isn't accidental when it keeps happening. It's dominance. It's them saying without words that what they have to say matters more than what you have to say, that their voice deserves space and yours doesn't. Most people handle this by talking louder, by trying to compete, by waiting for a gap that never comes. That's the wrong move. You're playing their game on their terms. Here's what ruthless people do. They stop talking mid-sentence, complete silence. They let the interruption hang in the air. They let everyone in the room feel the awkwardness of what just happened. Then they wait. They don't rush to fill the silence. They don't nervously laugh. They just wait and watch the person who interrupted them squirm. And then when the moment is right, they say calmly, "I wasn't finished." 4 words, no aggression, no emotion, just a statement of fact that makes it crystal clear this isn't happening again. Or better yet, you address the pattern directly. "I've noticed you've interrupted me 3 times in the last 10 minutes. I need you to let me finish." Public, direct, impossible to ignore. Will it be uncomfortable? Absolutely. Will some people think you're being too much? Probably. Do you care? You shouldn't. Because the alternative is spending the rest of your life being silenced by people who've learned they can steal your voice without consequences. Here's what most people don't understand. The person who keeps interrupting you isn't doing it by accident. They've sized you up and decided you won't fight back. They've calculated that you value being polite more than being heard, and they're right until you prove them wrong. Your voice has value. Your thoughts matter. Your words deserve to be heard. And anyone who repeatedly tries to take that from you isn't someone you need to be polite to. They're someone you need to put in their place. Stop shrinking. Stop accommodating. Stop making yourself smaller so other people can feel bigger. The world has enough quiet people who let themselves be walked over. It needs more people who refuse to be silenced. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My voice matters. Number 3, when you're pressured to forgive quickly. Someone hurts you, betrays you, lies to you, disrespects you, and before you've even processed the pain, people start pressuring you to forgive. Let it go. Move on. Be the bigger person. Don't hold grudges. Everyone's got advice about your forgiveness except the person who actually wronged you. Machiavelli once said, "Benefits should be granted little by little so that they may be better enjoyed." The same applies to forgiveness. Real forgiveness isn't something you hand out like free samples. It's earned slowly through changed behavior, through genuine remorse, through time. But people don't want you to take time. They want you to forgive quickly because your anger makes them uncomfortable. Your boundaries make them feel guilty. Your refusal to pretend everything's fine disrupts their peace. So they disguise their discomfort as wisdom. They tell you that holding on to anger will hurt you more than it hurts them. They say forgiveness is for you, not for them. And technically they're not wrong, but they're also not right. Because forgiveness on someone else's timeline isn't forgiveness. It's compliance. It's you swallowing your pain so other people don't have to sit with the consequences of what they did or what they allowed to happen. Real forgiveness happens when you're ready, not when they want you to be ready, not when it's convenient for them, not when enough time has passed according to someone else's clock. And here's what ruthless people know. Some things don't deserve forgiveness. Some betrayals are too deep. Some lies are too destructive. Some people have shown you exactly who they are, and believing them the first time isn't holding a grudge, it's having standards. You don't owe anyone forgiveness. You especially don't owe it to people who haven't apologized, who haven't changed, who haven't done a single thing to repair the damage they caused. So when someone pressures you to forgive, ask yourself whose comfort are they really worried about, yours or theirs? And if the answer is theirs, you have your answer about whether their advice is worth taking. Take your time. Feel your feelings. Protect your peace. And if forgiveness eventually comes, let it be because you chose it, not because someone guilted you into it. Your healing doesn't run on anyone else's schedule. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I forgive on my terms. Number 4, when someone keeps you emotionally busy, you know this person, they always have a crisis, always have drama, always need your advice, your time, your emotional energy, and somehow their emergencies always become your responsibility. Today, they're upset about something at work. Tomorrow, it's relationship problems. Next week, it's family drama. There's always something, and you're always the one they call. At first, you feel good about it. You feel needed, important, like a good friend. But slowly, you start to notice something. Every conversation is about them. Every interaction drains you. You give and give and give, and somehow you're always left empty. That's not friendship. That's extraction. These people are emotional vampires. They don't want your advice. If they did, they'd actually take it. They want your energy. They want someone to absorb their chaos, so they don't have to deal with it themselves. They want a dumping ground, and you volunteered for the job. And here's the trap. If you try to pull back, they make you feel guilty. They remind you of all the times they needed you. They act hurt that you're not available. They make you feel like setting a boundary is abandoning them. But let me ask you something. When was the last time they showed up for you? When was the last time they asked how you're doing and actually waited for an answer? When was the last time this relationship felt balanced? If you can't remember, that's your answer. Ruthless people understand something crucial. Your emotional energy is a resource, and some people will drain it dry if you let them. They'll take everything you give and still come back asking for more, because you've never shown them there's a limit. So, you set one. You stop being available every time they call. You stop dropping everything to solve problems. They're not even trying to solve themselves. You stop letting their chaos become your emergency. And when they push back, because they will, you stay firm. I care about you, but I can't be your only support system. You need to talk to a professional. Or simply, I don't have the capacity for this right now. It sounds harsh. It feels mean, but it's necessary because protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's survival. Stop setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Number 5. When your time is treated as flexible, they show up late. They cancel last minute. They change plans without asking. They assume you'll just adjust because your time isn't really important anyway. And you do adjust. You wait. You reschedule. You accommodate because you don't want to be difficult. Because you want to be understanding, because surely they didn't mean anything by it, but they did mean something by it. They meant that your time doesn't matter as much as theirs. Machiavelli once said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." The same applies to you. Look at the people in your life. Do they respect your time, or do they treat it like something they can waste without consequence? Because here's the truth. People who respect you show up on time. They keep commitments. They value your schedule as much as their own. And when something comes up, they communicate early and apologize genuinely. People who don't respect you. They're consistently late. They cancel at the last minute. They make plans and break them like it's nothing. And they always have an excuse ready. 1 time is an accident. 2 times is a pattern. 3 times is a choice. And if you keep accepting it, you're teaching them that disrespecting your time has no consequences. So what do ruthless people do? They leave. You said you'd meet at 2. It's 2:15 and they're not there. You leave. No angry text, no lecture, just gone. And when they finally show up and ask where you are, you say simply, "I waited until 2. You weren't there, so I left." They'll be shocked. They'll think you're being unreasonable. They'll say, "It was only 15 minutes, and that's when you know you did the right thing." Because someone who truly respected your time wouldn't think 15 minutes of it was disposable. Stop waiting for people who make you wait. Stop rearranging your life for people who wouldn't rearrange their afternoon for you. Stop accepting breadcrumbs of respect from people who should be giving you the whole meal. Your time is the one thing you can never get back. Every minute someone wastes is a minute of your life you'll never see again. Treat it accordingly, protect it fiercely, and cut off anyone who treats it like it's worthless. Because if you don't value your time, nobody else will either. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My time is valuable. Number 6. When you explain more than necessary, you set a boundary and then you spend the next 10 minutes explaining why, justifying, giving reasons, building a case like you're on trial. I can't make it tonight because I have this thing and I'm really tired and I've been so busy and I know you'll understand and maybe we can do it next week and I'm really sorry. And stop. Just stop. Not as a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on why you're saying it. Here's what happens when you over-explain. You give people ammunition to argue with you. Every reason you give is an opening for them to say, but that's not a big deal. Or, can't you just push that back? Or, I really need you though. They're not trying to understand. They're trying to find the weak point in your defense so they can break through it. Ruthless people don't explain. They state, I'm not available, that doesn't work for me, I'm not doing that. Period. End of discussion. And when the other person pushes for reasons, they don't provide them. They just repeat the boundary. Like I said, I'm not available. Same words, same tone, no elaboration, because they understand something critical. People who respect you accept your no without interrogation. The ones who demand explanations, they're the ones looking for a way to change your mind. They don't want to understand your reasoning. They want to find a flaw in it. Think about it. When someone you respect tells you they can't do something, do you grill them about why? Do you demand proof that their reason is valid? Not, you accept it and move on because you trust that they have their reasons and those reasons are good enough. So why are you giving detailed explanations to people who've already shown they don't respect your boundaries? Your decisions don't need defending. Your choices don't need justification. Your boundaries don't need a PowerPoint presentation. Say what you mean what you say, and don't fill the silence with explanations that only weaken your position. The more you explain, the less powerful you become. The more you justify, the more you're admitting that your boundary needs approval to be valid. It doesn't. You said no. That's all the explanation required. Drop this affirmation in the comments. No explanation needed. Number 7. When you apologize for being firm, you finally stand up for yourself. You set a boundary. You say no. You call out disrespect. And then, like clockwork, you apologize for it. Sorry if that came across harsh. I didn't mean to be rude. I hope you're not upset with me. You just apologize for having a spine. This is one of the most self-destructive patterns people fall into. You do the hard work of standing up for yourself and then you immediately undermine it by apologizing for doing it. You hand back all the power you just claimed. Let me be clear. Being firm is not something you apologize for. Setting boundaries is not rude. Demanding respect is not mean. And you don't owe anyone an apology for refusing to be a doormat. When you apologize for being firm, here's what you're really saying. I know I just stood up for myself, but I'm not really sure I'm allowed to do that, so please don't be mad at me. You're asking permission to have boundaries. You're seeking approval for self-respect. And the person on the receiving end hears that weakness loud and clear. They learn that if they act hurt or offended, you'll back down. They learn that your boundaries aren't really boundaries. They're suggestions that can be negotiated if they apply enough pressure. So, they'll keep pushing, they'll keep testing, they'll keep making you feel bad for standing up for yourself because it works. Ruthless people don't apologize for firmness. When they set a boundary, they let it stand. Someone acts hurt by it, they don't rush to comfort them. They let the person sit with the discomfort of being told no. Because here's the thing. If someone is upset that you set a boundary, that's information. It tells you they were benefiting from you not having one. It tells you they preferred you weak and accommodating. It tells you they don't actually have your best interests at heart. Good people respect boundaries. They might be surprised by them if you've never set them before, but they respect them. The people who get angry or hurt when you stand up for yourself. Those are the people who are counting on you never doing it. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stop apologizing for choosing yourself. Your firmness isn't something to apologize for, it's something to be proud of. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I stand firm, unapologetically. Number 8. When you keep the peace but lose yourself. You don't want drama, so you stay quiet. You don't want conflict, so you agree. You don't want to upset anyone, so you betray yourself over and over until you don't even recognize who you've become. You've kept the peace. Congratulations. You've also lost yourself in the process. Look, I get it. Conflict is uncomfortable. Confrontation feels scary. It's easier to just go along to get along. Easier to bite your tongue than speak your truth. Easier to fake a smile than risk someone being upset with you. But easy doesn't mean right. And peace that costs you your authenticity isn't peace. It's surrender. Think about all the times you've swallowed your real opinion to avoid an argument. All the times you've gone along with plans you hated to keep everyone happy. All the times you've pretended to be fine when you were falling apart inside. You've become an expert at keeping the peace. But whose peace are you keeping? Not yours. You're at war with yourself every single day. Fighting the urge to scream your truth, suppressing who you really are to maintain a harmony that doesn't even include you. That's not peacekeeping, that's self-abandonment. And the worst part, the people you're doing this for don't even appreciate it. They think you're genuinely happy. They think you genuinely agree. They have no idea you're dying inside because you've gotten so good at pretending. Ruthless people understand that real peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from being so aligned with yourself that external conflict doesn't shake you. It comes from knowing that disappointing others is sometimes necessary to avoid disappointing yourself. You want to know what's more exhausting than dealing with conflict? Living a life that isn't yours, spending decades playing a character you created to make other people comfortable. Looking in the mirror at 50 and realizing you have no idea who you actually are. Some conflict is necessary. Some relationships need to be shaken up. Some people need to be upset with you, because the alternative is you being upset with yourself forever. Stop sacrificing yourself on the altar of other people's comfort. Stop making yourself smaller so everyone else can stay comfortable. Stop keeping a peace that doesn't include you. The right people will love the real you. The wrong ones will leave. Let them drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose myself. Number 9. When someone keeps testing after warnings, you've warned them. You've been clear. You've stated your boundary multiple times, and they keep testing it. Keep pushing. Keep seeing if maybe this time you won't follow through. This is the moment that separates people who have boundaries from people who just talk about them. Because here's the truth. A boundary without consequences is just a suggestion. And people who keep testing after warnings aren't confused about where the line is. They're betting you won't do anything when they cross it. They're gambling that you care more about keeping them around than you care about respecting yourself. And every time you warn them again, instead of following through, you prove them right. If you do that again, we're done. Then they do it again, and you give another warning. Now you're a liar. Not to them, to yourself. You've taught them that your words don't mean anything, that your boundaries are negotiable, that consequences are just threats you make when you're upset, but never actually enforce. So they keep testing. Why wouldn't they? There's no downside. They get to keep doing whatever they want. And all they have to risk is another meaningless warning. Ruthless people don't give multiple warnings. They give one clear statement of what's acceptable and what happens if it's violated. Then they follow through immediately, without hesitation, without a second chance. If you disrespect me again, I'm walking away. Then when it happens, they walk. No conversation, no debate, no explanation. They just do exactly what they said they'd do. And the person is shocked. I didn't think you'd actually leave. Exactly. They didn't think you'd follow through because you've spent so long proving you wouldn't. But following through changes everything. It shows people you mean what you say. It shows them that your boundaries are real. It shows them that disrespecting you has actual consequences, not just threats. Will they be upset? Absolutely. Will they try to make you feel guilty? Probably. Will they call you cold or harsh or unforgiving? Maybe. And none of that matters because you're not setting boundaries to win a popularity contest. You're setting them to protect your peace, your dignity, and your self-respect. People who truly care about you won't need multiple warnings. They'll hear you the first time and adjust their behavior. The ones who keep testing, they don't respect you, and you don't need to keep people around who don't respect you. Follow through every single time, no exceptions. So, there you have it. 9 situations where being polite is the worst thing you can do. 9 moments where ruthlessness isn't optional. It's essential. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about becoming a terrible person. This isn't about treating everyone badly or walking around with a chip on your shoulder. This is about discernment, about knowing when kindness serves you and when it destroys you. There are plenty of situations where being kind, patient, and understanding is the right move. But these 9 situations aren't those times. These are the moments where kindness gets mistaken for weakness, where patience gets exploited, where understanding gets abused. Machiavelli wasn't telling you to be cruel. He was telling you to be strategic, to understand that the world has people in it who will use your goodness against you. And if you don't learn to recognize them and handle them accordingly, you'll spend your life being their victim. The ruthlessness I'm talking about is self-preservation. It's protecting what matters, your time, your energy, your dignity, your peace. It's refusing to be a doormat while still being a good person. You can be kind and have boundaries. You can be compassionate and demand respect. You can be understanding and still walk away from people who drain you. But you have to be willing to do the hard thing, to have the difficult conversation, to enforce the consequence, to stand alone if necessary. Because at the end of the day, the only person guaranteed to be with you for your entire life is you. And if you betray yourself to please others, you'll end up alone anyway, just alone with a version of yourself you don't even recognize. So, if this video resonated with you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. Stop being polite to people who don't deserve it. I'll see you in the next one.